Hello everybody, this is 1981 and these are the Renault cars, the turbo-powered Renaults, and this is how they usually looked, or they were getting involved in unlucky accidents like that. And we're going to go to the French Grand Prix in Dijon, Mustard Land, and David Hobbs is going to tell us about it.
One of the funny things about Formula One racing is that almost every season some local hero manages to steal the limelight. And France awoke ecstatic this morning as on the pole is a French driver in a French car, young René Arnoux.
Yeah, René Arnoux was on pole. Here is the circuit, one of the old-time circuits in the middle of a forest.
Well, as you can see, it's relatively simple. That's the new section sticking up like the top of a Stetson there, but it's a long uphill straight, and this is going to favour the turbocharged cars. However, those corners are all fairly high speed. The circuit undulates a lot, so the really well-handling cars like the Brabham and the Williams are also going to do well here.
So that's what we could expect for the race as the drivers got ready. Yeah, 1980s, but Ayrton Senna not on pole. He wasn't in Formula One yet. So other young drivers were given the opportunity, and it was René Arnoux in the Renault that got the pole. Here's an interesting little interview with Renault's technical director at the time about how they kept the car cool.
In 1981, we used a trick very special. We found before a means to improve the performance of the engine by cooling the air intake the engine. At that time, dry ice was not available on track, and for that we buy ice, normal ice, in a fish market close from the track. It was perfect because Alain Prost got immediately a fantastic pole position, but we have a smell inside the garage so bad that all the journalists attending in the garage run away all the day. Nevertheless, we learned a lot of things because it's from this step is born the water-air cooling system. It's a fantastic souvenir.
Yeah, so interesting ways of keeping the cars cool there. Maybe the pit didn't smell very good, but at least the cars, well, they could last the race, which for the Renaults at the time, the turbos, they were blowing up quite regularly. I think, Prost this season actually finished, every race he finished on the podium, but he didn't finish very many. And that was unfortunate. That's what really cost him World Championship in '81. As the cars pulled off for the warm-up lap, it was René Arnoux from John Watson and Nelson Piquet in the Brabham, with Alain Prost starting in 4th place. Interesting looking cars. Some of these are normally aspirated. The McLarens and the Brabhams are still normally aspirated cars, whereas the Renaults and Ferraris and Alfas and the like are turbocharged. It was still sort of a debate what's better, normally aspirated with a big engine or a small engine with a turbocharger.
It's a bit overcast overhead as the engine revs rise and away they go. And coming through in the middle of your picture, Alain Prost, the Frenchman, and René Arnoux. But it is number 5, Nelson Piquet, who is leading with John Watson taking 2nd position and trying to take Piquet as they go into the 1st corner.
A great start there by Piquet. Prost getting squeezed on the inside and losing out, but Piquet around the outside to take the lead.
And they come round the right-hander at La Bretelle up towards the parabolique. Now they're into an uphill section, and on lap 1 out of 80, it's Nelson Piquet leading John Watson, then the young Italian De Cesaris.
Yeah, Andrea De Cesaris is John Watson's teammate here. He's going to try and finish the race. Let's see if he can do it this time. So they'll file through on lap 1 of the race. Not too much happening. There's Eddie Cheever at the back. Prost, here at the end of lap 1, he pulled out of the slipstream. The cameras decided to miss it, but he took De Cesaris and got up into 3rd place behind John Watson, as Nelson Piquet was pulling out a bit of a gap.
That's Alain Alan Jones into the pits. He's changed tyres, and at the same time they pressurised his cooling system.
Yeah, so pumping water into the car there. Alan Jones already at the end of the first lap having some temperature problems. Not much happened, but while Jones was in the pits, the cameras missed it again, but Prost took Watson for second place. So he was up, and Jones was back in the pits. Unfortunately for Alan Jones, he would have a torrid time in the French Grand Prix of 1981. The previous year's world champion. But one man who wasn't having a torrid time was Nelson Piquet until he caught up with the traffic. Have a look at this. No blue flags where you're obliged to just jump out the way. And these guys are racing each other. And Piquet, the race leader, he's behind him and they don't care. Look at this. Have a look on the replay here. He's trying to go in between them. Yeah. Prost is also overtaking back markers. Look at his front wing. It's not exactly looking very stable. Prost had also lost fourth gear.
And as a matter of interest, Goodyear, the American tyre concern, have come back into racing after having been out of it since the fracas as a result of the battle between FISA and the Formula One Constructors Association. And I was saying that Nelson Piquet is on Goodyear tyres. There's only two teams on Goodyear's, and that's the Brabham and the Williams teams. So it's a wonderful re-entry for Goodyear.
Patrick Tambay in his Matra was in the pits. You can see he's explaining to the guys here what's wrong with the car. He was having some problems. Goodyear, it wouldn't be a very magical return in this race, as we'll talk about later as we get on. Tambay had a very lengthy pit stop here. Look at this. All wheels off, and they were bleeding the brakes as well. Tambay would unfortunately have to retire later, but for now they did send him back out to see if...
Now, there is the battle for second position. Prost, number 15, as Tambay gets away from the pits. There is John Watson in third place. Out of the pits comes Tambay. Through in second place goes Alain Prost.
Yeah, Prost up into second and charging. He got behind Andrea de Cesaris as they came up to lap him. Somehow he was still in the race. And look at de Cesaris. This was regular in the 80s. The guy behind his teammate would hold up the guy. Basically, de Cesaris is holding up Prost so John Watson could catch up. Prost eventually, with the turbo power on the straight, would get through. And in behind Jacques Lafitte's Ligier. And de Cesaris, would he let his teammate through? Or be a dumbass again?
He must know that it's Watson in his mirrors, and surely he'll let him through now. He's doing so. He's letting Watson through. Watch. Over the crest. And John Watson now is past his teammate, Andrea de Cesaris, as Alain Prost in second position takes Jacques Lafitte and laps him. Lafitte in the Talbot Matra. And I was saying, it looks ominously to me as though there's a danger of rain. Let's hope it stays away. Prost.
Yeah, so Prost was on his way, but John Watson was catching him. And you can see it took 3 laps for Prost to get past de Cesaris, but John Watson had absolutely no problem. And as they were catching up to some more traffic, Watson was having a look.
As they come through the right-hander, it's certainly less than 1.2 seconds, and look at that umbrella around the course. I can tell you, I'm sitting out in the open and I can feel drizzle on my arms, and I hope that drizzle doesn't turn into rain, because as we get into the mid-50s on laps in this 80-lap race, there's still a long way to go. And look at that, spray from the tyres. It's coming down, it's starting to rain heavily as de Cesaris, who has been into the pits, comes out, and Alain Prost takes Patrese, and John Watson is blocked by Patrese, and the rain is really starting to come down now. And out goes the red flag. They're stopping the race. This is on the 59th lap. we've had a very quick decision because the race has run less than 3/4 of its distance, which is 60 laps. They have made an instant decision that the race, according to the official rules, has got to be run as a two-part race. So now, an hour later, the grid is reassembling, and it's reassembling in the order that the cars finished in what will now be regarded as part one of the race. And the decision as they go round on another warm-up lap about who wins the French Grand Prix will be decided by adding up both parts. Now that's the grid in effect, because that's a finishing position. I've just been told that both the Renaults are going out on qualifying Michelin tyres. They're soft tyres, they will give super grip, but the question is, will those qualifying tyres last the 22 laps? And I can tell you that it's a very unhappy and disconsolate Nelson Piquet, because the first leg was only 2 laps off the 3/4 distance, and now he's got to do it all over again. And Piquet is not on qualifying tyres because Goodyear hadn't got any special qualifying tyres. 22 laps and it's go again. And this time it's a superb start from Alain Prost, and he's into the lead. It's Watson second, it's Arnoux in third position, it's Ribac going through in fourth place, and Piquet's had a very bad start. Piquet right down in fifth position, and look at the crowd waving. It's a French car in the lead, a French driver, a French engine and French tyres, and they love that. And John Watson hanging on as they go round towards the Parabolique. They've gone round La Bretelle up to the Parabolique. This is the 95, 100-mile-an-hour corner, and Watson's trying to take Prost as they come up to the braking point, and he's going through. John Watson leads, but he's run wide, and Prost goes through. Well, if John Watson keeps that up, he will either definitely win this race or go straight into the Armco.
Yes, win or crash. John Watson. Oh, Murray Walker, what a legend. Yeah, so this is the interesting thing, is this maybe grip? Prost having the qualifying type Goodyears on. Did he have more grip than John Watson? Perhaps. He certainly had more grip than Nelson Piquet, who was up to fourth place by lap 59.
And there's Lafitte. Lafitte is out of the race, and Lafitte finished in seventh place in the first leg.
Jacques Lafitte climbing out of his car, disappointing day for him, Frenchman, having to retire, and Prost had set the fastest lap.
The fastest lap we had in the first leg was 1 minute 10.2 by Nelson Piquet, and Prost is going quicker.
Yeah, that's really what won the race for Prost, was having those super soft qualifying tyres on. He'd also managed to fix the fourth gear, so he had all four. He had all of his gears. And yeah, well, you see, they don't call him the professor for nothing. That was a great tactic, a great strategy. There was a question whether qualifying tyres would last 22 laps, but he made them last.
Jean Sage and Gérard Larousse, the head men of the Renault team, are almost literally biting their nails with excitement. They're leaning over the Armco now, looking up the track, waiting to see whether for the first time this season a Renault is going to win a Grand Prix. If they do, it'll be, to put it mildly, a famous victory, and it looks as though it's going to be. Out goes the checkered flag, and Alain Prost has won his first Grand Prix, the French Grand Prix. What a wonderful victory for this young Frenchman. And the crowd all around me is going wild with excitement, as well they may do, because not only has Prost won, but René Arnoux in the other Renault has finished in third position.
Yeah, Prost was congratulated by some old French guys. They said, well done, you good stuff, lad. But they said that in French. And yeah, Piquet was actually classified in third place because, you know, the combined times of the race, so René Arnoux missed out. Nelson Piquet did manage to get onto the podium in third place, but he wasn't very happy with his Goodyear hat, going, you know, bastard rain. why didn't Goodyear have qualifying tyres like Michelin did? So French car, French driver, French tyres.
Very well. I don't feel much better because it's my first win, and for me it's fantastic because it's in France. I'm very happy.
The French people, of course, are delighted with your victory. Why was the car so much better in the second race than the first?
Because we changed the tires, and in the first race I had a big problem with the gearbox. I had no fourth gear, and for the second start I had my fourth gear, so I was much quicker.
So you must be very pleased about the rain.
No, but yes, I was very lucky because it was raining, and after I had get the fourth, but I think my car was the quickest today. I think it's good for me, but for all the team because they did a very good work.
Yeah, so Prost got a really nice little walk there for winning, and Nelson Piquet still wasn't very happy. But yeah, a great race for the young Frenchman, and the crowd came in to be sprayed by the champagne. And I'll leave it there with you guys until the next one. Have a good time all the time, guys. Cheers.